In fact, you should start pioneering, even though you don't believe it. And then talk to the elders because like they'll help you believe it again. And then read the Bible more. And I'm like, no amount of reading the Bible or talking to these idiots is going to solve the problems. I have big questions. And he's like, ignore the big questions, ignore the doubts. That's what they tell you. Pray more. And then go talk to people and knock on the door, because teaching other people the nonsense reinforces it for you.
Right.
And I was like, well, I want to go to college. I want this. I'm going to keep my band, and I'm not going to follow this rule. I'm not going to follow that rule. And he's like, you don't really need the Jehovah's Witnesses. You don't really need the elders. You don't really need the congregation. You don't really even need to go at all. You just need your relationship with God. And I was like, well, if that's the standard, that's pretty low. And he's like, but if you start pioneering, I'll give you like half price rent they just bought this neighbor's house when he died. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I'll spend 50 hours a month working for an organization I don't believe. I have very, very mixed feelings about, and I don't have any Jehovah's Witness friends. All my friends are not, they're all worldly. To save $125, I'll do 50 hours of work. And it's like, I'll do 150. It's so ridiculous, right? The scenario is so silly, but it was more coercion from like keep the family together kind of situation. So I kept that kind of going, kept my band, went to college, and then met all the people in the movie shortly after that. So it wasn't all terrible. I'm trying to turn in some lemonade, you know?
Yeah, right. But, very cool.
Yeah, so leaving at 2008 at 27. So I totally was just like, at that point, I was sort of like unindoctrinating myself since I was 19 to 27. Mm-hmm. One step at a time. As you know, it's not just like one thing. There's always like the final thing, but it's not just the one thing.
Right. Right.
But so by the time I was 27, I was like totally deconverted, and I didn't ever look on the internet about what ex-witnesses were saying until I started making the movie like a decade later. I was like, I wonder if there's other people like me in the world. Of course there are, hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, right.
And they're making movies and traveling around and meeting each other and doing activism. And I was like, oh, wow, there's a whole active, vibrant community. What was that like for you? And what was your issue to leave? Or how was your path out?
Was your dad like an elder or?
No, he was like the bottom rung. He was a literature counter guy, but like a dad of 5 kids and a full-time worker. So he's busy and stressed and just trying to do doing the bare minimum and
best you can,
barely keeping it together.
Right. Understood. Yeah. Good for him though. I mean, that's hard. My dad was a circuit overseer. And
big shot.
Yeah, big shot guy. Right. So I never got in trouble. So when I got, when they found out I was smoking and when they found out I was feeling up girls or whatever, I didn't get in trouble. But